Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that's been shaking up the Killing Floor community in a big way. The latest update for Killing Floor 3, version 2.007, just dropped. And man, it's a massive one. I'm not exaggerating when I say this update feels like a soft reboot of the game in all the right ways. Whether you've been grinding since launch or you stepped away for a bit, this update is the kind of overhaul that'll make you want to jump back in, relearn your favorite perks, and rediscover how brutal, chaotic, and satisfying Killing Floor can be when it's firing on all cylinders. So, first off, let's talk about what's immediately new, the weapons. The new patch added 3 standout tools of destruction that honestly feel like Tripwire and Saber took the best parts of fan favorites and cranked them up. We've got the M14 EBR for sharpshooters, the MKR 350 AR for commandos, and the Strike Dual Defender for engineers. Each one brings its own style, personality, and more importantly, its own set of mod possibilities that completely change how you approach fights. The M14 EBR is a perfect example, and it's one of those guns that just feels right when you pull the trigger. Every shot has that sharp punch and smooth recoil you expect from a precision rifle, but it's not just a carbon copy of the old M14 from Killing Floor 2. The mod system lets you tweak it in interesting ways, like swapping to match-grade ammo for higher precision, or throwing on a full auto receiver if you're that type of player who wants to melt waves faster. It's flexible, it's satisfying, and it makes the sharpshooter perk feel more dynamic than it's been in a long time. Then there's the MKR 350 AR, which is like the Commando's new best friend. This rifle hits that sweet spot between control and chaos. It's got clean recoil, solid rate of fire, and just enough punch to tear through mid-tier Zeds like they're made of paper. The dual mag and green dot sight mods are a small detail, but they completely change how the gun feels mid-wave. That quick reload and tighter aim can make or break those clutch moments when you're holding down a corridor and your teammate's already getting dragged off by a Scrake. And man, the Strake Dual Defender for engineers might just be the dark horse here. This weapon looks like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi flick, with an industrial feel and a unique rhythm to its firing pattern. Once you start experimenting with mods like the extended or quad barrels, it becomes a serious powerhouse. Engineers already had a solid toolbox of gadgets and traps, but giving them a weapon with this kind of versatility really rounds out their kit. It's no longer just about setting up defenses. You can actually hold your own and dish out major damage too. Now, here's where things get wild. The update doesn't stop at just giving us new toys. There's a huge structural change that's shaking up how the entire game works. Perks and specialists have officially been decoupled. That means you can mix and match any specialist with any perk. It's something fans have been asking for since early access, and now it's finally here. No more being locked into a certain style because of your character choice. You can take any specialist you like, plug in whatever perk tree fits your playstyle, and roll with it. Want to play as Hazmat with the Commando skill tree? Go for it. Prefer to bring a melee-focused Berserker build while rocking a specialist who's built for speed? You can do that too. This one change alone completely changes how matches feel. You start to see these weird, creative combos on your team. Someone running a support loadout with a medic specialist, another person mixing demolitionist gear with a berserker setup. It's pure chaos in the best way possible. And it also means players can finally express themselves without feeling like they're sacrificing efficiency just to look the way they want or play the character they prefer. It's a small freedom, but it feels massive in practice. There's also something new that's both hilarious and useful. The Z-Bump physics system. This is one of those features that sounds silly on paper, but once you experience it, you realize how much it adds to the game's flow. Basically, when you sprint, slide, or dash into smaller Zeds, you can stumble or knock them over. You can literally body check clots, stumble crawlers, and my personal favorite, land on a Zed's head to knock them flat. If you fall from a long height and land right on top of them, you can even obliterate them completely. It's goofy, but it's also another way to interact with the chaos around you. It keeps that frenetic, movement-heavy feel that Killing Floor has always been about, but now with an extra layer of physical comedy and control. Now let's talk about some of the balance and performance updates, because this patch doesn't just add, it refines a ton of what was already there. One of the most noticeable things is how much smoother the game feels. The devs have worked on performance optimization across GPU and CPU usage, cleaned up the UI, and fine-tuned a lot of the visual effects that used to cause frame dips during big fights. If you've ever had one of those moments where you toss a grenade, an explosion triggers 10 particle effects, and your frame rate tanks, you'll immediately notice the difference here. It's much cleaner, more stable, and overall, way more consistent. On the gameplay side, one of the biggest mechanical shifts is how shotguns work now. They've been reworked to hit instantly. It sounds small, but the difference in feel is night and day. There's no more awkward delay where you pull the trigger and the pellets take just a hair too long to register. Now, shotguns feel snappy and responsive like the hand cannons of destruction they're supposed to be. It also improves accuracy and makes crowd control with support, and other shotgun users feel tighter. Bash to ADS transitions have also been sped up globally, which makes combat flow a lot smoother, especially when you're trying to line up those quick follow-up shots after a melee bash. A lot of weapons also got balance tweaks. The Scar's damage got bumped up, making it more viable again in higher waves. The Bloodhound revolver's recoil and accuracy were adjusted so it doesn't feel like a bucking bronco anymore. And there's been a bunch of small but important retunings across weapons that make them feel more rewarding to use. You might not notice every single tweak immediately, but once you spend an hour or two with your go-to loadout, it starts to click. Even the Zeds themselves got a balance pass. The Husk's fireball is slower and less homing now, which is great news for anyone tired of being sniped by those flaming jerks from across the map. The Siren's projectile speed has been toned down and they no longer home in on you either, which gives you a better chance to actually dodge their attacks instead of eating damage out of nowhere. These changes don't make the game easier, they just make the fights feel a little fairer and less random, especially in chaotic situations. Performance improvements also extend to the visuals and UI. The menus feel more responsive, the lighting's been adjusted to reduce glare in some areas, and there's less clutter overall. The result is a smoother experience where you spend less time waiting and more time blasting Zeds. It's clear the devs are listening to player feedback and using these updates to build a stronger foundation for future content drops. Speaking of content, there's also some fun cosmetic stuff added this time around. You've got new login rewards, including free items that are honestly pretty cool, and the in-game store rotation has been updated with new bundles and skins. There are also new trinkets that add a little flair to your weapons, which, while not game-changing, are a nice way to show off your grind and style. All in all, this update feels like a huge step forward, not just another patch with a couple bug fixes. It's a statement that Killing Floor 3 is really starting to find its identity. The freedom to mix perks and specialists opens the door to endless creative setups, the new weapon mods make experimenting actually worth it, and the performance boosts show that Saber and Tripwire are committed to making sure the core gameplay stays tight. What I love most is how this update manages to respect the DNA of the series while also pushing it into new territory. It still has that gritty, blood-soaked vibe that Killing Floor fans love, but it's evolving in a way that feels modern. You can tell the devs aren't afraid to make bold choices now. The Zed bumping might seem like a fun gimmick, but it's also a reminder that Killing Floor has always been about momentum, about moving forward, managing chaos, and creating those moments where everything explodes into slow-motion carnage, and you just sit there grinning like a maniac because you somehow survived it. If you've been away for a while, this is the perfect time to come back. The community's alive again, the new systems make experimenting fun, and the gameplay loop is smoother than ever. And if you've been here since day one, this update's a reward. It's proof that your feedback mattered, that the game's evolving, and that we're only scratching the surface of what's coming next. So yeah, that's everything major in the new update. It's got fresh weapons, a full new approach to how perks and specialists work, smoother mechanics, better performance, and even a bit of slapstick fun with the new bump physics. It's the kind of patch that doesn't just patch, it transforms.